Hello? No, just you're fine. Hello? I don't know if we got sound or not. We don't. George, can you hear me out there? There you go.
Check, check.
Yep. Mike, can you hear us out there? Hello?
Check,
Okay.
check.
Yep. Okay, great. Yeah. All right. Ready? Hello again, everyone, wherever you may be. I'm Scott Blair, and this is a special edition of Adding Blinkers from 16 Pole Racing. And we got a special guest today that is going to be quite a treat for us. We're gonna be looking at three races today: the Arkansas Derby, as well as the Oaklawn Mile, and then Clay is going to stick in between those two races a uh, a maiden race that will be very interesting as well. So let me get him introduced. My compadre here today is Clay Sanders. He's a Mountain Home native, U of A graduate. He's in Memphis now and banking over there. He's a co-founder of 10 Strike Racing. We're going to let him talk a little bit about that at the end of the show. But he's an also, excuse me, he is also a very, very accomplished handicapper. He's a five-time NHC qualifier. He has finished as high as seventh in the BCBC uh, tournament with the Breeders' Cup. That year, he finished seventh. He had a bankroll and contest prizes that totaled over $100,000. He's won the Keeneland Betting Challenge. Two of the last 3 years, he has won the Express Bet Travers Betting Challenge. And he scored plenty of big pick fives and pick sixes along the way. Clay Sanders. Clay, how are you?
I'm great, Scott. It's a Derby day, so what's not to be excited about?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to start with the Oaklawn Mile, which is race 11. And Clay, go ahead and tell us what you're thinking in race 11.
First off, what a great race. The Oaklawn Mile for a grade three. We got a lot of famous horses here. Horses have been in the Derby and accomplished quite a bit here. I think the interesting thing here is there's a ton of speed in this race. And if anybody was at the track yesterday, speed was not very good. Inside was not where you wanted to be. Most of the winners were coming from off the pace and coming wide. And all the main horses in here, the number two, Neoquist, wants to go. For East Avenue, who's a really, was a good Derby horse last year. He wants to be up front. Full Serrano won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile 2 years back. He's very forward horse. Coal Battle, he was won everybody over last year in the Arkansas Derby, winning the Rebel and the Smarty Jones. He likes to be close. Seven, New What's New, who's kind of the now horse, likes to be up there. So I just think it's going to be a battle. I don't love these two horses I'm going to pick here, but I think they're going to take advantage of a pace meltdown. They're going to be coming running late. But the first will be number one, Will Take It from the Dallas Stewart. Won the fifth season here earlier in the meet. Actually had a pretty rough trip. Didn't break well. Had to come through on the inside. I think he's going to improve off that performance and take advantage of the pace. And then the other horse I like, this horse I really don't love, Gun Party for Steve Asmussen, but he's just one that's going to be taking advantage. I think he's going to sit, make one big run, and he's going to be a big price. I think he'll be over 20-1. And of the shorter price horses are going to be up close, I would use the seven, New What's New. He's a Munnings. Scott and I both have a lot of affinity for that stallion, but this horse has really turned the page this year with three huge performances. And I think a lot of people will knock his Razorback a little bit where he couldn't hold off Magnitude, but I mean, Magnitude might be one of the top two or three horses in the world. So no knock there from me. So I'm going to go 1, 3, 7 in the Oaklawn Mile.
Okay, so you've answered some of my questions because you sent me the picks and I got a chance to take a look and I thought, wow, where is Clay's angle on this? But you're just predicting and expecting a really intense pace early that it's going to melt down and going to give some of these horses, these other horses, a chance. And Clay, I'm going to tell you, this is the third podcast I've done, the third time I've covered this race. And this is the first time, I think at this point, I think every horse has been picked by somebody. That's how competitive this is.
Absolutely. And I mean, the best horses all have similar running style. And, if they, these jockeys can read the form. If one horse gets out loose on the lead and the other jockeys, kind of sit right back off of it, maybe the race won't collapse. But I think with a really competitive pace situation, these 1 mile races, the short run to that first turn, and I'm a big believer in you can't be 3 wide on that first turn. So I just think whoever's going to be outside stalking early is going to be at a huge disadvantage. I think it's going to set up for the 1 and 3.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other comments on that one. Now, very interestingly, I let him pick a race, and he chose the maiden. It's right in between the Oaklawn Mile and the Arkansas Derby. And that's very, very interesting. These maidens are tough enough as it is. We got one here on Derby Day, several first, or at least a couple of first time starters in here. And he's going to go over this race. And when we get done, we'll go back and you'll be able to piece together a pick 3 as well. So, Clay, who do you like here in the 12th?
My top pick in this race is going to be the number 7 Silver Shot. A lot of people are going to dismiss this horse. He was very highly touted, was a $2.2 million yearling, and so far has been a disappointment. It's been bet fairly hard each time out. And I was at the fairgrounds in his last race on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And that was one of those races days down there where you had to be inside and you had to be on the lead. And this horse likes to drop out of it, be in the back, and make one big run. And that is just not what you wanted to do that day. I think that was a better race than it shows on paper. And I think he's making methodical improvement. He's a gun runner out of a Tappet mare. He's going to want all of this 1 1/8. And I think a lot of these horses aren't going to appreciate going 1 1/8, especially trying to break their maiden. Probably the 2 key horses in this race is the number 2 Banksy's. This horse is a talented horse. I just think he wants to sprint and not route. If you look at his debut, very impressive. Ran an 81 Beyer, running second. And then they stretch him out to 2 turns, and he takes a step back, runs a 73, finishes second. But I don't like horses when they're stretching out, take a step back. So I think he's going to be a really short price. I think he's a horse to fade. He can certainly win, but I think at a short price, he's the horse I want to fade. If I was going to take one of the shorter price horses, the number 6 Kells, I think he has a little bit of hang in him, but he's the type of horse that should appreciate the 1 1/8 being out of blame. He will be a short price, 2 to 1. He could win. I'll have him on my tickets. But the other horse I'm really interested in is by a trainer that Scott and I know very well, Lindsay Schultz, Baby Vino. I encourage people to go back and watch the replay of his last race. Horrible trip, breaks poorly, 4 wide, started to make his move, clips heels with the horse, almost goes down, steadies himself, and still comes with one big run and only gets beat 2 1/4 lengths. He was 53 to 1 that day. We're not going to get that price today, but I think we are going to get double digits. I wish he wasn't posted out in 11. Hopefully Torres can find a spot and tuck in into the first turn, but I think at a price, this horse is very interesting.
Okay. To let you know, on Thursday when we had our filly run, I went to the paddock with the horse, and Lindsay mentioned this horse, Baby Vino. She's really excited about him. So I'm anxious to see him go. And if you'll notice, when he had all that trouble, he only lost by a length to Banksy. He was only a length behind. So if he didn't have the trouble, he probably handles Banksy's that day. Excuse me. And then who else did you have in here? Silver Shot. Yeah. You got angles on things that somebody like me, I don't see. All I see are some big deficits as far as links behind the leader. And go back over Silver Shot while you like him.
Well, I just think that he's going to get a more favorable setup from a flow perspective. Oaklawn is at least recently, especially yesterday, it's been more of a closer track. Fairgrounds on that day, you had to be up front. I think this is a big horse, slow maturing, and he's just going to get better with time, with distance. I think today's the day he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get, like I said, a favorable setup. He's going to get a pretty huge jockey upgrade from Concepcion to the best in the world and Irad Ortiz. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pay the Irad tax, but I will feel good knowing I have the best jock up on my horse.
Yeah, Irad's going to definitely drive those odds down, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got Asmussen as well. And we get into these days like today, and this is just one of those things that we have to remember is that we're going to have a lot of casual bettors over there that are going to be playing $2 and $5 on on names. And I don't just mean the horse's name, but when they see IRAD, there's a lot of people that are going to drive those odds down by just playing a lot of $2 bets on IRAD, right?
Absolutely, but if we play the pick three here, we don't have to worry about that casual money in the pick three. So that's one reason I like that bet.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because we're going to come back to that pick three. All right, any other comments about this race 12?
No, I think that wraps it up.
Okay, all right. Now we're going to move to the Arkansas Derby, and it's a mile and an eighth. It's a purse of $1.5 million. Of course, it's 3 years old. It's a Grade 1, and there's points on the line for the Kentucky Derby. So, Clay, tell us what we got here.
So I think the most likely winner is Renegade. Todd Pletcher's shipping this horse up. The thing I'll say about this horse is he's going to be 4 to 5. He's going to be a really short price, and I don't know if he's just a dominant horse. Now, I think most handicappers are expecting a move forward, and this horse is run in the best races. He's traded wins and losses with a DQ with Paladin, who's right now the favorite for the Kentucky Derby. I think this horse can win. I'm not against him, but I think from a value perspective, Blackout Time is the horse to bet. Blackout Time was a talented 2-year-old. He had some issues. He got sick. He got scratched at the Breeders' Cup. Wasn't sound. This spring, he's missed some training. Been shipping back and forth between the fairgrounds and Oaklawn. And I think if you watch his last race, this was a typical of a horse that needed a race. Kenny knew he's got a lot of horse. He's like, I don't want to crank this horse here. I can crank him for the next horse. If you know Brian Hernandez's jockey, he is a jockey that likes to ride inside when he's trying to win, famously with Mystic Dan. If you look at Blackout Time, he was 3 wide. That's not the trip they're going to have when they're trying to win the race. Just my opinion. He was wide, fast pace, tired, which is typical for a horse that needs a race. I think he's plenty talented. If he can bounce back, and he's improved it all from 2, he should be right there with Renegade, and he's going to be 3-4 times the price.
Okay. Yeah. And, but today, now we've mentioned that yesterday, the rail, you have mentioned the rail just wasn't the place to be. You think he's going to be okay down there today?
Well, I mean, that's the thing we got to watch. Obviously, we'll have 12 races before this to watch that. I also think Brian is smart enough to know if the rail is totally dead, they're not going to have their typical rail trip. One thing I will point out in these big Derby days, a lot of the times the track superintendents will soup up the track. So it would not surprise me if the track today is totally different from what it was yesterday. That's why I think you got to watch. If you see horses on the front end winning today early, maybe this track's a little different than it was yesterday, but something you got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that was a little of what we call around here the cross talk this morning, was they thought that track might be a lot different today, that they're going to have it ready to roll for speed.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone wants to have a fast track on, that is going to try to break records. I prefer a safe track. I don't like them changing it here and there. And, it's not as safe when they try to soup it up. But we'll see what happens today.
Okay, who else do you have besides those two?
So I think Silent Tactic, if you look at his sheet pattern, has just got this beautiful ascending line. I was on this horse in the Southwest at 12-1, made a really big score. A lot of people were very disappointed as Rebel that he didn't go by class precedent. I think he moved Torres. That was a race that didn't have a lot of pace. I think Torres moved a touch early, and I think if he'll ride him more patiently, make one big run, he could be right there. I'm not crazy about his price. I don't think I'd be playing him at 5-2, 3-1 to win, but I certainly think he's the other horse. I think a lot of people are going to be playing litmus test for Bob Baffert. I'm against Bob in all these races lately. Here he gets overbet. If you look at this horse, he stayed at Oaklawn after the Rebel. Bob always takes his good horses. The filly that was going to run in the Fantasy, he shipped back to California. He leaves litmus test here. That screams C or B team to me. He didn't bring his jockey in from California. He's got a local rider. He never does that. I don't know. Could he win? Sure. But when you got to pay the Baffert tax, he's going to be 4 to 5-1. I'm going to play against him.
I got you. Yeah, and making some equipment changes, so they're not really exactly sure what they got in that regard. They're taking blinks off today. First time he hasn't ran with blinks. What do you think about that strategy? What
Well,
are they looking for there?
he's got great numbers. Blinkers off. Bob does, but Bob's got good numbers doing
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
If you look at him, he dominated the Oaklawn races for years. But after his positive and with Medina Spirit in the Derby, I mean, he struggled at Oaklawn. So I just don't think he's the same trainer. I'm gonna play against him until he changes that momentum.
Understand this is one of those big conglomerate horses, right?
Yeah,
Just like the
SF. Yeah.
groups that we've been part of in the past, where
Yes.
they go out and they buy about 20 of them and try to find a Derby winner, right?
Right, and look, they're trying to make a stallion. They're grade one hunting. I understand why he's in the race. I just don't think he's the right horse. I mean, if you're going for long shots, watch the track. The number one Redland Rebels is going to be loose on the lead. They're going to leave him alone up there. If speed is bad again like yesterday, don't play him. But if speed is better today at a big price, Redland Rebels makes some sense. And the other horse that interests me a little bit is the maiden winner, Taptastic. Steve is trying to pull what Chad did with emerging markets winning the Louisiana Derby. I think this is too much for this horse. But if you're one that likes to play long shots, I can think of way worse long shots to play than Taptastic.
Yeah, the reason I didn't really give a lot of consideration to Taptastic, not just because he's coming off that maiden victory, it's also that it was done in the mud. So I don't know if he just was the horse that really liked that track that day.
I think that's a great point. It could have been a mud lover. He did do some interesting things. He closed into a slow pace. And you're right. Maybe he loved the mud, but maybe he moves up in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a very slow pace according to the internal pace figures that I'm showing. So yeah,
Yes.
very, very slow pace. Yeah. All right. So there we go. That's remind everybody who's the winner here.
I'm going with Blackout Time.
Okay, yeah, and that's going to be a real popular pick here, because McPeak, McGassaways, if they win, they'll all be over there in that corner right by the window having a big time come about 7:30 this
that
evening.
will be the place to be in Hot Springs
Yeah.
if they win the Derby. Absolutely.
Right here at the Crosswalk. Okay, now let's put together a pick three, and then we're going to talk a little bit about 10 Strike Racing.
All right, so let's go back. Race 11. I would probably press the 7 a little more. He's a shorter price. 7 with 1-3. Maybe like if you're going to do a $10 pick 3 with the 7 and $5 with the 1-3, whatever denominations you like. And then we go over to the 12. I would spread a little bit here. 7 and 11 are my main opinions. If you like some backups, the 6 and 9, and watch the 4 here. If speed is good, if speed is bad, leave the 4 off. But my main opinion is 7, 11, and backups are 6 and 9. Then I think the 9 is a huge price. And then in the Arkansas Derby, our numbers are 3 Blackout Time, 6 Renegade, and 2 Silent Tactic.
Okay. All right. Now, so we've also given you guys a pick 3 out there that you can give some consideration to in those 3 races. Okay, Clay, here's the deal. I met you in what a lot of people will call maybe a country song. It's kind of funny. I walked in. I'm waiting for this guy back here behind us. I'm down here on my birthday weekend, and I walk into a pizzeria here across the street from the track, and there's only one seat at the bar. And I've been told that would make by a country singer that is partners with us, said that might make a great country song. One seat at the bar. I walk up. You got your iPad open, and you've got one of these handicapping apps up. And I start asking you questions. And the next thing you know, 7 months later, I'm part of 10 Strike Racing with a group of my buddies. And it's been a great ride. Tell everybody about 10 Strike Racing.
Well, we're a syndicate where we put groups of people. We actually just started out as our friends and family, and it's kind of branched out from that. But we're Oaklawn focused. We both live, Marshall and I both live in Memphis. I grew up in Arkansas, and we love winning races at Oaklawn. So we're Oaklawn first. But, we branched out. We had keep horses in Kentucky, New York, some in Louisiana. We'll ship down there to race. But basically, we're trying to get people like-minded for small, a lot of people can't own a piece of the Chicago Cubs or the New York Yankees, but you can own a piece of a horse. But we try to make it where it's even easier, where you don't have to own all the horse and pay the 4 or 5 thousand a month to train a horse. We do small pieces, 1%, 0.5%, where you can get in for $3,000 or $6,000. You can get in for even less by joining Scott's group. But we buy young horses, 8 to 9 a year. Each year, young horses trying to find horses that are going to, win races at Oaklawn. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of social events. One of my friends that's in the horse business told me, as he's getting older, there's nothing like watching your own horse win. So, I mean,
Yeah.
his line is actually watching your horse cross the finish line at Oaklawn is the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's been a great ride for us. I've got a group that's been blessed enough to travel a little bit. I mean, we've won races here, Louisiana, Texas, West Virginia, New York. We've been in the winner's circle in a lot of different states with 10 Strike.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, look, it's a challenging game. It's difficult, but it's so rewarding. There's a lot of highs and lows, but there's nothing like when you win a race, and it's incomparable.
Yeah. So those horses are usually start putting them together in August and are introduced in the late fall, correct?
Yeah, we start buying August, September yearlings, the October sale, and then we'll buy a few 2-year-olds at OBS all the way through June, and then we'll end the partnership with 8 or 9 horses. Then we'll go to war with those. Once all of those are done, we close the partnership out and send hopefully money back to all of our partners.
I got you. Okay. Any other comments about this racing today? It's going to be cool but beautiful weather. It's going to be in the 60s, but golly, it's nice out there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great day. I think we're going to have a huge crowd, and if people are interested in owning a piece of horse, give Scott or I a call or an email.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's do some thank yous before we shut this thing down. First of all, and I usually say these guys for last because I forget, but let's thank the Crosswalk Bar and Grill. They are right across the street from the track, right across from the American Pharaoh statue that's outside. Jason has always got something great going on. I believe they got $7 Bloody Marys all day long today. After the races, there'll be live music with one of the local favorites, Sherry Bales, and Jason will be pulling off some of his great barbecue. So stop in here. They're going to have other racing, like right now we've got Dubai on in here and previews of the Arkansas Derby, the Florida Derby. You can see them on the TVs all around the place. So come on in here and check out the Crosswalk. Also, thank you to Arkansas Beverage Sales, the Anheuser-Busch distributor here in the area. They are the distributors of Michelob Ultra, who you can see here in front of us, and we appreciate their assistance as well. Also, Brothers Roofing and Restoration, longtime residential roofing in this part of the state as well as the entire western part of Arkansas. Just go to brothersroofing48.com and you can find out all about them. So I think that's it. Clay, any other comments at all?
No, I'm excited to be on here, and let's make some money today.
Okay, great. All right. So that wraps up this episode of Adding Blinkers. And before we go, we always want to say, no matter what you're doing today, tomorrow, or anywhere, always go fast and win. Thanks, Clay.